Hey, Andrew, how you doing, buddy?
You can't hear me, maybe you just hear you.
Yeah, one-sided, but they can type in. See the live. Well, you've typed in.
Yeah.
Trying eyes behind me, Mr. Dangerous. Yeah. Hey?
Name's there, didn't it?
No,
Trout and Danger?
no. Scott, sorry to hear you've had a rough week, buddy. I'd love to share a couple emails back and forth about it. Whether it be business, family, whatever's going on. I know you've got some big stuff in motion over there. Agro Tattoo, cheers from the West Coast. Hope you've had a great week. Andrew, I've had a good week. Thanks for asking. Nice busy week here. I was almost a half hour late, almost going to be a half hour late for the live stream. My computer is a half hour behind, and I opened my laptop and I said, sheesh, I got 25, 30 minutes still. I'll start doing a little bit of tidy up. And when I checked my phone, I think my wife messaged me. It was already 6 minutes after 8. So I almost missed you guys, but I'm here. A couple minutes late, but I'm here. Looks like we got a small crew rolling in. That 6 minutes delay might have thrown a bunch of people off here. Going to be hard to have a good chat without a big crew. Mr. Brulote, welcome. I got your last email as well, and your deposit there as well, Gerald, for the Remembrance Day Puco. Gerald jumped right on it and just went ahead and sent a deposit so that it's locked in. Great. That's just great. Just great. So you're written in the build list. The build list is building. Serial numbered, of course. Yeah, man, you did it. You did good. Agro Tattoo, glad you managed to check in. Glad you managed. Any boat news? I was out a few times this week. I spent a lot of last weekend on the water, and then I was out a few times this week, a couple different times, little trips around, and just been really enjoying it. No modifications, really. I got a new boating water charts app, and I got a tablet set up in the boat. So I've got one of those nice RAM mount, tablet mount things. They're not, when they originally came out, RAM mount, specifically RAM was the RAM mounts was the name of the brand. They came out with this like polymer ball joint type design, and it was just phenomenal. And they're still around, very expensive. But in the last few years, a lot of other companies have picked up on the design because it's a fairly easy thing to replicate. And so you can pick up cheap versions now that are just fine. They're just fine. Maybe not as good of a polymer as the actual RAM mounts, not quite as durable, but providing you're just not asking too much of it, they're just fine. But no real boat news other than that. I've been putting it to the boat, really enjoying it. Other than starting to get a little bit of boat fever for the next project, but I'm pacing myself. That's a while out. But I've been watching a lot of content on watching some of these bigger boats do the longer trips, the multi-day runs. And me and my girls have been watching the Outdoor Boys quite a bit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that channel, but we really love watching the Outdoor Boys. and watching the skipper there fly up to Alaska, I believe, and go out for several days of fishing. And just beautiful. A boat like that, something probably closer to 30 feet long with a house, nice little cabin on it, would, but still, I don't want to get away from like that sport fishing boat. Big fan of that style of boat. I don't want it pretty and dainty with carpeted floors and that type of thing. I want like a rough sport boat. Jonathan Tolbert, hello to you. Ryan Corbin, hello. No pink pinstripes on the boat yet. I don't think we're going with pink. I would say we're going to do something with that jade color that was mentioned last week. Probably, I'm picturing maybe that like battleship gray or the gray for the console, like Chad mentioned last week's live stream, and then maybe the jade color in the letter writings backed with the same gray, something like that. Oh yeah, he does some great stuff, eh, Scott? There a few months ago, unfortunately. Well, good for his family that he can do it, but he announced that he was completely done uploading content for the foreseeable future. He was done because they were getting a little too famous for his kids to live a normal life, which I completely understand. I don't have that problem, but I completely understand not wanting that for your kid. When you are, or for your kids, when you are the scale that he is, just, I mean, massive views. Hard to believe the kind of views that a YouTube channel like that can pull in. Egro Tattoo, glad that you love the boat. It is a great hull. I'm really picky about hull design, hull shape. It's just not a lot of styles that I really like. You guys can see Dad going around back there. We've been putting it in all evening, and he just finished up gluing up some really cool scales to be put on a couple knives on Monday. Some bog oak, orange, layered, really cool, classy looking stuff. That's going on a Tuckamore and a Warrior, just as a random website listing. Or to show off in next week's live stream and have you guys buy it up, that type of thing. So that's the plan, but they will be really nice. I know you guys are always big on the orange and the browns, always a good solid combo. And so that's what we're building here. Strapped and Dangerous. Yeah, you watch Luke too? Scott, I was watching someone in the know talk about the specs on his channel and his content and just what he's doing. And I believe they said just at the rate he's going, he can probably pull in half to 750,000 per, was it year? For a very long time, just with his view counts on the content that he still has going. Just 1 second here, guys. Can you write one for me? Yeah. Two? Yeah. Thank you. Are the fish biting? They weren't biting too well last weekend. But I didn't try real hard anyways, but they weren't biting real well last weekend. This week I was out one evening there and I dropped the hook for a few minutes in a couple spots. I thought I might have saw a little bit of mackerel movement, but nothing. But I haven't been really trying either. Not giving it a fair shake. I might see over the winter when I take the boat out of the water and do all the pretty work, the finish work. I think that's when I might also start investing in some goodies, some tech or something like that. Like a fish finder would be really cool. Like a bottom sounder, depth sounder, fish finder, that type of thing. Stereo, some of those types of stuff would be fun to have. Oh, Quinn, great to hear. I was wondering about that I think it was this week. I said, I wonder what happened with that package for Quinn. I didn't hear anything, but I guess you're just busy. You're on the go, buddy. I understand. Cyril, welcome. From Londonderry. Very cool. Welcome to the live stream here. We've got sort of a different group in here tonight than our usual. Very cool. Michael, welcome, sir. Michael, strapped and dangerous. Scott Stapleton usually stops in every week. I appreciate that, Scott. Andrew is here often. Quinn, that's great to hear. I'm glad. That was a beautiful, beautiful setup there. Those buck 110s with that bog oak and the abalone through it. It's so, so beautiful. Let me show you guys a couple pieces of steel here, shall I? And a couple of our usuals that are here don't appear to be here tonight, and I've got knives for them, so it would have been cool to show them, but that's okay. They'll probably watch the after film. Oh, isn't that something, Mr. Dangerous? They hang on, they pass it around and drag their feet. Something else. We've got a really beautiful, this isn't it. Let's start with this custom. This is an interesting piece. Drawn up, the sketch was sent in by the owner. Let me know what you think. So this is built right off of a sketch by the owner. Whoa, funny things going on with the lighting there. Okay.
That one was before that one.
Oh, and you got to keep them.
Yeah. In line.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is a cool piece, guys. If the lighting does pick up again, but we've got some black G10, orange or red G10 there. Nice thick liner. A really cool chunky jimping. You see we got some more packages going out the door here, guys. Nice deep saber grind. This is a big knife. I can't quite remember in the moment. I believe it's intended to be a nice hunting piece, but very interesting. Heavy with a pinky lanyard and this kind of rear hook. This would make a great chopper because it's got so much front weight. Very cool piece. But I really like this knife. And notice he asked for, I don't know if you can see, I've tried to get it to focus, asked for that edge to run right off the back. So no real ricasso there, no sharpening notch, no need. The edge runs right off the back, which is pretty cool. I don't do that often. With my chef's knives, of course I do, but don't do that often. Definitely a multi-use blade. Would make a great hunting knife. Would make a great woods or camp knife, a wood processing knife, all that sort of thing. Would be really, really cool. Hey, Ryan, how you doing, buddy? I had a great week. It would be a great survival knife indeed. Let's show you. Oh, this is a beautiful knife. This might be one of the finer pieces in the group. This is a chef's knife, and I've built this pattern many times. I've drawn it. I drawn it up years ago, but just a beautiful piece in a satin finish, sort of a santoku, which is what I would describe it as, but a beautiful piece. And this customer said, hey, for the handle, why don't you surprise us? And so we're doing a burl here, kind of a green brown mixed burl, all copper hardware, copper liner, and then ancient bog oak up in the front there. Isn't that a beautiful knife? Oh, I could have some fun with that. If you didn't know, guys, I really love to cook. I love to cook. Love to use my knives in the kitchen. It's a lot of fun. And this will just be a great, great piece. And I like it for kitchen knives. It's even a different kind of fun because, there's like a different vibe. The knife is in the home and in the kitchen, kind of the center of the home, and the family's around and cooking is happening. It's preparing meals for the family. It's a kind of a special, sentimental type of thing surrounding kitchen knives. I like it. I'm glad you like it, Mr. Dangerous. I don't know the Heli Deli. I've got to search that up. Oh, yeah, I could see that. Kind of a similar design. The Heli Deli looks like a bit of a longer piece, a little bit more shallower, but very similar lines, like you said. That's a cool knife. I like it. Glenn, I'm glad you like it, buddy. It's a beautiful knife. A very cool, let's see, a couple of beautiful bake apples here. Let me just wipe this one off. This is a bake apple in blackout. And from the side, looks really cool. Everything's subtle and blacked out. But as you turn to the spine, we have brass liners and full-length file work. How cool is that? So, and from the side profile, it just disappears. So quiet. Everything just disappears. And then you roll to the spine. Isn't that beautiful? Mr. Dangerous, this is a beautiful piece. This whole piece was designed by the client. Everything was picked out. He was dead set on the brass liners and then the complete blackout with the black hardware and everything. But just I'm happy with how clean this piece came out. Just near flawless in its finish. Really, really nice. And a great looking knife, much my taste. I love the black, the brass with the black. Oh, Todd, thanks so much. Todd says his favorite bake apple that I've built to date. Very cool. I'm glad. Have you ever made a flat ground bake apple? I assume you mean full flat grind, and yes, I have plenty. I've made them in flat, convex, Scandi, Saber Vex, full flat. Maybe I already said that. I've built them with fullers, almost everything besides hollow grind. I don't do hollow grind, but just a beautiful piece. I'm glad you guys like it so much. Another interesting bake apple, and I've got to get this white cleaned up here. But this knife, guys, none of these have sharpening yet or final cleanup. I'm seeing like bits of black gunk on it from the buffing wheel and that type of thing. So these don't have final cleanup or anything like that. But a fellow looking for a bake apple, custom built, to honor the Labrador flag. And it's not quite done yet, but this is what we've come up with. So we've got a high flat forge finish bake apple, and the colors are washed out a little bit, as I tell you every week. But if you search up the Labrador flag, you can see this is dialed in very, very close. Not the Newfoundland flag. Labrador has its own flag, and this is very, very close. A natural liner in there, but we have the white, the forest green, and then the rich blue. Very cool piece. If you look at the Labrador flag, why don't I just pull that up for you real quick? Labrador flag. So it looks like, oh, those colors are so bad. It looks like these here in the corner. So you have the white, the forest green, and then the blue. But right up in this top corner, see this little element? I intend to, see if I can, right there. I intend to laser engrave that in the white here, just like it is done there on that angle. And then I think I'm going to backfill it with like a black epoxy flush. So it's not an indentation, but it's perfectly outlined. That's the plan. So it will near perfectly emulate the Labrador flag. So I'm pretty excited about that design concept. Sometimes when you get kind of an open request, like I want it to honor the Labrador flag in some way. They don't give you a sketch, just make it honor the Labrador flag in some way. You scratch your head for a while wondering what colors are essential, what are less than essential, what some colors have to be in there because they are crucial to that color scheme. What angles or shapes, which color do you want more of? You know, it's kind of a delicate balance there. I think it is something like that, Tim. I'm not quite sure. I didn't research it. I'm not well informed on it, but very, very nice. And I think I can pull it off very nice on there. And then, so do I want to show you these? Okay, I have a client and friend who really loves, as do I, the Spyderco Dragonfly. Now, Skipper Eric, when you're watching this later, here it comes. I hope I don't ruin a package surprise for you. Really, really loves the Spyderco Dragonfly, and I do as well. But the Spyderco Dragonfly is, as it should be, very tiny and compact. But it's also a little bit flimsy, a little bit weak. So what if we could build that really cool knife? Something similar. I can't build an exact replica, but something very similar, but in a fixed blade, in a K&N Knives fixed blade. And that's what we've done here. And if you don't know, you can get that knife in both the standard blade and the Wharncliffe style blade. Actually, if you guys could give me 1 second, I believe I have mine here. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to find that real quick. So this is a standard grind bake up or Dragonfly built by Spyderco. Very cool knife, cool lines. You've got some really great purchase options there. Got the jimping, very cool piece. So what if you could take this knife and build it into a fixed blade that looks like this. And again, these don't have final sharpening. They don't have final cleanup, oiling, nothing like that. These have No edges right now. No edges. But this is what we've come up with. And you can see, actually, I've got a grind line to finish up. That just reminds me, on all three of these that I have here, I just had one last task, and that is to switch to the my small wheel attachment and do this little underside radius here, just to make that perfect. And this is basically the Spyderco Dragonfly in a fixed blade. And it has all your cool traction points that make the Dragonfly really excellent. And I'm really happy with the way I cut that jimping. So crisp and sharp, just bites the hand like crazy, but really, really nice. The blade finish looks more even than usual forge finish. This is the usual forge finish. It's just, I think because it's such a tiny little blade, you don't get as much real estate to get variations. So it's just a coincidence that this one happened to have a fairly even finish. You can see a little bit of variation there, but it is just the normal forge finish that I do. And then, as I mentioned, Spyderco also makes the knife in a Wharncliffe version. And so here we have it, guys. Matching set. What do you think? Looking forward to hearing you guys' opinions. These are just a beautiful, very close matching set there. I like that. The lines are, yeah, everything is... Send on to Eric at Spyderco. I don't know an Eric at Spyderco. Do they have like a main guy? But really happy with these. They feel great at every angle in the hand as the Dragonfly does. But this is sort of my rendition of the Dragonfly in a fixed blade. Really, really cool. Isn't that cute? And I built, just because of the way the steel went, and I'm not going to do this one justice because it needs some cleanup. It's not done on the wheeling. It hasn't been oiled or polished or anything. But I built an extra Wharncliffe in black with green hardware, green phenolic hardware. It's really, really cool. This is an extra one. I may keep it for me. If one of you guys are really interested, I may consider selling it, but the plan was probably to keep it for myself. I'm a big Dragonfly fan as well. And this is a cool little blade. And in the Wharncliffe version, very, very cool. Very cool. What do you think, guys? Thank you, Mr. Dangerous. Okay, I am not familiar with the Spyderco, the family or the crew there, and they do almost nothing on social media, which is really strange because their blades are really modern, really unique. It's not like an old classic, old-timey, like you could see a brand like, say, RH Ruana or Puma not being online because it's a long-standing brand and you can imagine really fun, tactical. Chat disconnected. Okay, connected again. I don't know if you guys lost me or not. I just popped up. Chat is disconnected here. Okay. So if considering their product line, their style, it just seems like they'd be a modern social media type company. That they'd be big on social media marketing and influencing, and but they're not. They barely have a website. Very, very interesting. That always surprises me. They're definitely one of the few that are not there. But it's too bad because I really enjoy when there's a product line or a company that I like. I enjoy watching them. I really like following their social media happening, what new models are coming out. which is probably a good reminder to me about what Mr. Dangerous was saying, I believe, last week about, do they really? Other than back in the nut and fancy days when he would sit and do some talks with those guys, I don't think I know of hardly any content out there. Perhaps I'm not looking in the right places. Like, I don't think they have an Instagram or a Facebook or anything like that. Just very minimal presence, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong once before. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm not even familiar with Eric Glusser. Not familiar with the name. But that is my little homage. I'm thankful for the request to ask me to build these. And it was just a fun build and challenging because there's a lot of elements to execute here. There's a lot of stuff going on that is pretty easy to do when they're water jet cut or laser cut out of thousands, to sheet material. But when you're handcrafting, there are so many lines and radiuses going on here, as you can see. So many things, traction points, grind lines, and things to try to dial in and get right. So they were a challenge, that's for sure. What else can I show you guys? Do I want to show you guys the big beauty on the table? Yeah, I think I will. This is a big Bowie project. This is a long-standing project that I've had for a while, and I'm just getting to the end of it, which feels great. Let's have a look. Again, not finished, guys, but here is a big, beautiful forge finish Bowie. And kind of like a coffee brown, curly maple stabilized, and it's a really highly figured curly maple. Brass hardware, brass guard, as you can see, beautifully cut brass guard. This is a full tang piece. This is kind of an invisible permanent guard. It's fixed. You can see that you've got an exposed tang all the way through. This is like a lap joint or a scissor joint. Isn't that something? The shape, the customer sent in a couple pictures of handles that he really liked in terms of design elements. So I tried to work with that and give him the best that I could with still my design, because I do have sort of creator limitations, I'll say. Not limitations in being able to do it, but there are just some funky designs that I'm not interested in building. There have been projects that I've just flat turned down because, no, sorry, I can't build a handle that looks like that. It's just, I know it won't feel right. It won't look right. I don't want my name on that work. And you can comment on that if you like, if you think that's a bad idea or a good idea. If you think that's kind of silly of me as a maker. Some people have the idea that, sheesh, if they're paying for it, what does it matter? Build it. I don't stand by that. For me, it's got to be a work and a design that I'm proud of. But this piece, I am very, very proud of. I think the lines came out. I saw the exposed tang lanyard hole. Yeah, this was a very specific request from this customer. They were dead set on having that, and I think that came out very nice. And I like the look of that. It's cool. It's unique. It's very different. Fullered forge finish. Really, really cool. Gerald, you want one, buddy? You saying you want one? We can do it. Mr. Dangerous as well. The sheath is not done yet. These are in very early stages. So this has no edge, has no final cleanup, no corrections or final inspections, no leather work, nothing. And I don't like to sharpen blades before the leather is sitting and waiting, because then you have exposed edges sitting around on tables or in shelves, and it's not good for the knife because they end up getting clinked together and clinked on the shelf and that kind of thing. And it's also not good for the people that are working around the shop. You don't want finished sharpened edges sitting around in too many places. Almost never do they sit around on tables. That almost never happens. It's just a habit or practice around the shop. Let me see. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I just realized that I'm not plugged in. 1 second. A limited edition. Whoop. Huge lag there. Maybe because I just plugged in and the computer's changing over from battery to AC power. Have you lost me? I see I'm very laggy. I'm still here? Okay. On my end, I pretty much froze up and I can see my screen jittery and all kinds of funny things going on. I appreciate the confirmation. A limited Bowie run, whoo, that would be a huge project. A knife of this scale, a big knife like this, is a big project. Just to grind the bevels on this knife is a big project. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of material. It's big in the forge to get everything dialed in just right. It's a big project. When you get into brass guards like that, it's a bunch of mill work, a bunch of work on the milling machine, and it's a big project. But if we were doing like a Bowie run like that, it would have to be a run of probably 5 at the most, or you'd be at it a little too long for it to be fun or enjoyable anymore. Hey, Rocco, you're going to have to watch this one back, buddy. We've got some of your work on the table here tonight. You missed out on the whole discussion. But, Gerald, I would love no sound now. Is that right? Confirm, is my sound gone? Okay, you hear me? Good, good, good. Rick hears me. Hey, Rick Top, how you doing, buddy? Oh, Glenn is giving the thumbs down. Rocco, just a little bit too late, eh? Story of his life, he says. I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Kevin Williams, your 110 is shipped this evening, sir. Thanks for the privilege of building that beautiful piece. Rocco, let me give you a little taste here. You can go back and watch later, but worth bringing up again. Oh, can I show you this one? There we go. That's as much as we'll go back over for now, but yeah, anyone interested in any of these projects, shoot me an email or some inquiries, whatever. I'd love to chat about it or get a discussion going. I'll get back to you kind of when I can get back to you, but I'll do my best. Kevin Williams, it was my pleasure to build the Buck 110 for you. I really love Buck 110 works projects. They're a lot of fun. They're always rewarding. And I appreciate every one. Oh, Rocco, I was saying, if you go back and watch the stream after from the beginning, I was saying I'm so appreciative of being asked to build the sort of the dragonfly homage here. And here we have it in that spear point or the standard grind and then the Warncliffe. We've got those Newfoundland colors, the yellow, red, blue as requested. Kind of took a little liberty for how that was going to be applied, but I just think they came out so sweet. What a wicked little pair. Oh, Rick, that's great. You're camping with the camper. Very cool. I hope you enjoy those knives. Be very careful out there. That sounds great. Sounds great. Todd, absolutely, buddy. If you're set on owning one of my knives, I appreciate that. You know, occasionally, upon request, if a customer is dead set on something like that and they show genuine interest, I have worked out, payment options. I have had customers pay a little bit each month for 2, 3, 4 months and that way each one acts as sort of a reassuring deposit so that I feel comfortable getting to work and building the piece, and they don't have to wait 4 months before they put in their order and then get in the list. They're in the list and their piece is being built. That's a cool way. It's a cool way to do it. I try to help people however I can. Rocco, you said with pocket clip sheets, they will be. The leather work is not done for these. I'm just showing a bunch of really beautiful pieces here on the table. I've gone through a bunch, but these don't have edges yet. They don't have anything. Final cleanup, nothing. This is an extra piece there I built, Rocco. I decided the way the steel worked out, I think is why we did it, but built an extra one in black G10 with lime green hardware. Really, really cool piece. I sort of built it for fun. I'll probably keep it for myself, but if someone is super interested, I'll mention again. But again, you have that really wicked jimping. It's just cut super nice. They're really, really fun. Rocco asks, is anyone else interested in a full tang commemorative military dagger? Woo, that is a whole different beast of a project. I liked seeing your sketches there, Rocco. Maybe next week or sometime real soon, maybe we could sort of bring the sketches to the table and we'll have a look and talk about it. That would be fun. I have built a number of daggers in my life. My most elaborate knife build ever was a dagger, as some of you guys will remember that little build series that I did. I don't know if it was 1 or 2 parts maybe, where I built that 2-piece wedding dagger, that engineering marvel. That was a head scratcher. That was a tough piece to build, but very exciting. And I just love that piece. The pictures that I took of it, I took them quickly, but they came out beautiful. I wish I had spent more time photographing that piece, all the different intricacies. You mostly have full frame shots of it, when I wish I could have showed some of the elaborate brass work out around, But that was a cool project. Todd, that sounds great, buddy. Guys, I'm just scanning down through here. A time frame on those bird and trouts. Thank you for the reminder, because I have a mock-up prototype that I'm working on. And here is what it looks like. Based off the sketch from last week's stream, this is the plan for the bird and trout. These are the lines. I spent quite a bit of time working with this from that sketch. I cut out the piece of paper, the sketch, and then started working with the different lines. And then I drew it out, and I had Dad cut out. I said, cut me out like a rough, chunky blank, so I have lots of room to carve and shape and dial. And I took a little off here and a little off here, and I played with this radius, how far forward and how deep in the lines, and just feeling it in the hand. And this is the piece that just feels right. It's not too much blade. Oh, you're seeing the other side here now. This is where I'm sketching up handle design. And this is what I want to do, I think, with this lead edge here. Now, what you're seeing here, this part, that's that side divot that I was talking about, that kind of multi-dimensional hollow, that concave, so that when you're holding the knife this way, your thumb sits perfectly in that. That's the idea. But this knife just feels great in every direction. Just really, really nice. But it's playing a little bit. After I've got it done, I said, it's kind of pulling some elements from the sharp finger. Definitely, I thought the same. But I really like it. We've got lots of handles. This is definitely a full size, a full grip handle. But like I believe is essential for a bird and trout, a smaller blade and a very lean blade in that fine tip. I think that's super important, because we've come up so high with the grind here, and we've actually pulled back, slightly recurved that tip, that it's very thin up here. It comes out to a very thin blade. So this is not, although it can probably do it if you don't mind pushing their limits, this is not a batoning blade like the Tuckamore that keeps that spine thick all the way out almost to the tip. This is not that piece. It really draws in slender. You have like an inch here of very lean area. And that will be even leaner when it's finished ground. Of course, this has to be left thick enough here to heat treat. But this is prototype. This will be stamped P and placed in my collection. But guys, I am building a limited edition run of these. And I'm putting a list together right now. I have a couple guys for sure already bought in. The guys who brought me the idea originally, because I got in very close succession a couple requests. Hey, I wonder, would you build a bird and trout? A couple different emails, and I said, looks like we're going to have to do a run of custom bird and trout knives, and that is what we're doing. And after discussion last week, I think we're moving from the polished blade to a forged finish blade. It seems like you guys would more lean towards the forged finish, and I'm just fine with that. That's going to be a very durable finish for the way these will work. But I have we're going to do some beautiful handles on these, really nice. But I really like the lines on this knife. Just really pleased. Took a lot of time, like I said, dialing it in. But Ariel, we will sign you up, sir. Can you hold up a bake apple in the frame with a new blade? Absolutely. Let's pick Rocco's bake apple off the table here. Let me try to get them, compare apples to apples, get them in the same spot. You can see just how much more handle real estate there is. More blade real estate as well. But quite a bit more handle. This is a full size handle here. You can really, really get on this handle. But then keeping that blade, it's leaner than the bait apple blade, little bit longer, but it's definitely leaner. Much finer point than you could put on the bake apple, unless you really carved in a full flat grind. I think it's a really cool piece. But if you're interested in getting in to this bird and trout build, I have a little running list going. These are going to be this is going to be a numbered set, probably going to be a set of maybe 10, probably less. And so very, very limited edition there. You can buy in and get 1 of 10 or 2 of 10, 3 of 10. It'll be a numbered limited edition set. They're going to be beautiful. Not an outrageous price point on these. That was sort of something that I'm trying to do with these. Not an outrageous price bracket. But that's the plan. So you can shoot me an email at kyle@np-inc.ca if you're interested in getting in on that. Of course, we also have that group build going for the Veteran or Remembrance Day Memorial Knife build. Sorry for jumbling or fumbling over my words here now, guys. I'm saying a lot and thinking a lot with a tired brain. I appreciate all you guys' kind comments on the designs. I'm so glad that you love the design. But we're going ahead with it. Yes, Rick, I actually sent out a group email and one went to you, but I thought it's strange I never heard from you. It's not like things have progressed a huge bunch and you're left behind, but I did ask for official confirmation, but I didn't hear back from you. So I don't know if it went to your junk email by accident or something like that, but I sent out a group email. Did not get it? Okay. Did. Oh. Okay, I'll make a note to resend that email there. Mr. Dangerous says he found it in his payment system email. Yeah, that's wonky. I don't often send batch or group emails. So Rick Top is in. That's great to hear, buddy. Rick Top, send email on Remembrance Day project. And I just had, if Mr. Brulote is still here, Mr. Brulote sent in his deposit for that project today. And I haven't specifically asked anyone for a deposit or anything for that, but he just wanted to make sure he was a part of that build and his name was in the project. And so he just slapped his money on the table. Here you go. Take my money. I'm in. And so I've been adding your names to the list, though. Absolutely. Rocco says, have you... Chad, buddy, you're late. That's all right. That's all right. We'll still accept you in, buddy. I just covered, Chad. I know you were interested last week in the bird and trout project, and I just showed the prototype that I'm working on right here now, developing. This would be an awesome camp and food prep knife as well, guys. Just the lean lines, just for some firecraft work. Just a great overall camp knife. But like I said, not your heavy batoning and that kind of knife. It's lean. It's got a smaller blade, very lean and fine. A fine craft tip. This would be awesome for whittling and stuff, but of course designed for a bird and trout. So that's why it's so lean. But Chad, I wanted to show you that because I know you were interested last week. And so the project is in motion. Michael, I'm glad you like it, buddy. Rocco asks, have you ever thought about making a flap overlap army style sheath with a snap closure. Yes, as I see Gerald mentioned, we're doing something like that for his. We're working with that design. Glad you like the pattern, Chad. Glad you like it. If you're interested, buddy, you can shoot me an email, and we can get on it. A flap sheath for the bird and trout. That's a cool idea. One thing, and you guys can let me know what you think here. When we're considering like a batch build, a limited edition run like this, like one of my goals for this piece, the bird and trout, is not to have too high of a price ticket. Because I know there's some guys here interested in this project that they aren't interested in a $500 or $600 knife. It's just so far from their mind. They should be able to buy a knife and a half for that. And I understand that everyone has their marks that they're interested in spending. And so I'd like to keep this bird and trout project in a reasonable price range. To get into the flap sheath, it's a whole bunch more material and a whole bunch more work. It can certainly be done. Like I always say, Rocco, whatever you want me to build, I can build. But that's my only concern. So let me know what you think about that, or if maybe you want like an exception and you want that custom flap sheath sent with it or included in the project, but it's not a core part of the build, you know, maybe something like that would work. Just making another note here. Rick, I can do that. And the reason that I have not, so we're talking about the Remembrance Day build. I haven't got the exact price dialed in yet. Haven't got it exactly dialed in, which is why a deposit works great. You can slap down a deposit and know that you've got money on the table and you're in, but it gives me the little bit of freedom that I don't have to commit exactly to a price. We know rough range probably. I've talked about with you a few guys, maybe somewhere where it'll fall, and I will definitely work to keep that. So, Mr. Dangerous, you like the idea of the flap sheath too? Okay, well, definitely, we've got it on the table. We've got it on the table. We've got Ariel's name down for the bird and trout. Got Rocco's name. Got Mr. Dangerous' name. I've got a couple outside of this chat privately. Anyone else here interested? Again, you can shoot me an email. Chad, are you interested in the project? And yeah, I totally understand that, buddy. The goal for the bird and trout is not to get near that $500 mark. I would actually like to keep it sub 400 is my goal, which is why to get into like that flap sheath. Chad, I think what we're meaning is, or I assume, is an over-the-top flap style sheath. By the way, this is my mini tradesman, busted up, roughed up, but oh, so good. If you're interested, you can shop at KNKnives.ca for your own. Some cool options there now, but I highly recommend it with the pocket clip sheath. Same thing with the bake apple. If you're picking up a new bake apple, highly recommended picking up the pocket clip sheath for it. Just transforms the knife. If you're going to be wearing it as an EDC, it's the way to go. Oh, Michael, you do love that mini T. It's such a great piece, man. Handle material for the bird and trout. I am batting around a few different ideas. It has to be durable, but I want it to be really beautiful and classy as well. So I've got some ideas on the table, but it won't be buyer's choice. It won't be individual. There will be a set. It will be a set. Todd is interested in the bird and trout. Todd, why don't you send me an email, buddy? That way I can include you in any discussions. Whoa, looks like I missed some messages or comments that came in. 2 pins on the bottom. Lanyard is necessary. 100%. It's got to be. That's a given. Agreed, Rocco. That's something that I have planned. You mentioned there the different sheath as a secondary item. Right now, I've got the optional pocket clip sheath for the Bake Apple Mini T as a single purchase item. You're able to buy that by itself. But I would love to get up replacement sheaths on the website for all the patterns, get it all listed there and itemized, as well as those custom options and those types of things. There should be a category for leather work that you can shop from 100%. Because a lot of people, I got a comment just a couple of days ago. There was a knife purchase. I went back and looked at the records, I think early 2023. And the guy he said waterlogged his sheath. I think he submerged it for a while. I can't remember exactly what happened. But when he got to using it again, it had been so soggy that he tore the belt loop on it. And so he needs a new sheath. So it would be cool right now, and it's fine. He went through me for it, shot me an email. We're getting one on the way to him. But it would be cool if he could go on the website and pick out a new sheath. But I realized after seeing that, I said, the only way for this guy to get a replacement sheath is to email me. And that's a bottleneck. That's a problem, especially when I can't always be chop, chop, chop with the emails, as many of you guys know. So I definitely need to remove that bottleneck. See, Stop Danger says, I'd like to see you make more than just those subscribed and sell the others at higher prices online. Not sure exactly what you mean there, buddy. Brian Fisher, well, Kyle, a while ago you made a couple Bake Apples with thicker blade than the original. Would you consider making them again? Absolutely. It's called the Bake Apple XL. It's a little bit longer and thicker. It's a very, very cool piece. And while they're not a official production model on the website yet, I am making them upon request. Rick, absolutely. We can do that, buddy. Understood, Chad. Understood. Rocco, when can you expect that setup? Within the next couple of weeks. Mr. Stealth asks, is there a way to see prices on your website in US dollars? I'm not sure. I I would have assumed that. So when I go on most US sites, or a lot of them I can recall, they just automatically show the prices in Canadian dollars. I don't know if my website has that or not. I had never really considered that. Or if you just see it all in Canadian dollars. But it's really easy if you want to go, if you go to Google, if there's a item you're looking at, just to give you an idea, just search the price. Search 150 CAD to USD or Canadian to US, and it'll just instantly give you the number. And you'll notice that you Americans have a wonderful buyer's advantage over us. So the price that you see my knives at on the site, your dollar is worth a lot more, significantly more. So let's see, if you're going to pay, for a buck 110 build, you're sending in your buck 110 and getting custom work, I'm going to charge you $325, say, with shipping. Canadian, American, what's that going to be, guys? Would someone do the conversion? I would guess 325 Canadian, something like what, 240s American? I don't know the conversion rate today. I'm just stabbing at what I'd say it would be around, but 235.50. Oh man, do I know my money or what? So yeah, that 325 Canadian that I charge you costs you 235 bucks American. So you have a significant buyer's advantage there for that. Chad, I get it, buddy. I get it. I appreciate you saying so. Lon, just got here running late. That's okay, buddy. I'm just heading out. I'm about to shut this down here. Rocco says, have you given any thought to my suggestion for a piggyback Master Hunter sheath? Is that sheath the same sheath for the Yellow Fox and the Nesmith? No, it is a totally different sheath. The Master Hunter has its own sheath. And so it would have to be kind of its own unique setup, its own unique design. But I'm working on it. I'm playing with some ideas. I'm playing with some ideas in my head. One more quick question. What's it cost to have a commission piece done? Small fixed blade with a sheath. Depending, it varies so much. A small fixed blade, let's say bake apple size fixed blade with a sheath, could probably get you in low 300s, mid 300s Canadian without any elaborate work. So you pick the kind of the lines and the shape, and you get to have opinion and feedback on what we're building, but you're not getting elaborate handle materials and elaborate grinds and file work or brass work or anything like that. It would be pretty standard. That same, again, talking about the variants, a small fixed blade with sheath, like you said, could also run $600 to $700, depending on the handle material, file work, brass work, all of those types of things, just how elaborate the sheath is. There's a lot of variation, buddy. So, but if you have some ideas rolling around up top and you'd like to just get some idea, shoot me an email and just say, I'm picturing, green curly maple handles. I'd love to have a sheath that I could scout carry. Okay, I could throw a rough number at you and just give you some idea. I'm going to get ready and sign off here now, guys. Rick says, boat looks awesome, Kyle. Enjoy a long weekend of fishing and family. That's what I am looking to do, buddy. That's just what I am looking to do. Very excited for that. Yeah, we'd love to see you guys too. Stock size running 1/8. $3/32, Chad. Oh, I don't think I would build a knife less than 5. Kevin, have a great weekend, buddy. Andrew, have a great weekend. It's been great chatting with you guys. Woo, it is 10 minutes past the hour now. Oh, Rocco, I enjoyed that link you sent over. I checked out that site, some wild handle materials. I love that. Very, very cool. We'll see. I've got some ideas running around, but we'll see. Thank you guys for your feedback. Again, shoot me an email if you're interested in any of those projects. And I look forward to chatting with you. If you're interested in any of the custom builds, the limited edition builds, that type of thing, shoot me an email. Shop at knives.ca. Have a great weekend. We'll be safe on the water, hoping to get out there plenty this weekend. Oh, thank you for the reminder, Rocco, that beautiful piece of scripture. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you are called to peace and be thankful, Colossians 3:15. Nice way to end. Have a great weekend, guys. I appreciate you all.